Tonight, chilling new details in the death of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife of 34 years, Betsy Arakawa.
You know, all I can say is they have been deceased for quite a while.
February 26, 2025. There is a shocking scene in the luxurious Santa Fe home of the actor Gene Hackman. He has been found dead in his home. His wife, 64-year-old Betsy Arakawa, also dead, found in another room. A maintenance worker discovered their rooms, the strangest part of it all. There were no signs of foul play or a struggle, nor any external wounds on either victim. What could have possibly killed them? This video will go over this story, and we will try to run an analysis of what happened to both of them, along with any other information that you should know. Now, despite the career of the two victims being long and extensive, most of us probably need an introduction to the two of them. Gene Hackman was born on January 1st, 1930, in San Bernardino, California. He was a distinguished American actor whose career spanned over 6 decades. He was highly respected for his range and skill as an actor, being able to fit many tones and styles if he wanted each performance to be thoroughly compelling for most audiences. He has earned 2 Academy Awards, Best Actor for his role in The French Connection, and an award as the Best Supporting Actor for Unforgiven. His filmography is extensive and includes movies like Bonnie and Clyde, The Conversation, Superman, and The Royal Tenenbaums. However, he isn't just another actor. He's also a writer, co-authoring historical fiction and writing his novels. Despite his success, you'd be hard-pressed to hear most people talk about it in this day and age, and the reason for that is that he stopped being a factory in 2004. He spent his later years with his years in Santa Fe with his wife, choosing to live a low-key life free from the press attention and constant stress of his previous job. Speaking of his wife, Betsy was born in 1961 in Hawaii. She was a classical pianist and interior designer. She met Gene in the late 1980s, and they married in 1991. The couple lived in their Santa Fe house, where Betsy kept herself sustained using an interior design business. Because of their husband's success, there was limited pressure on her to be excellent. Because of that, she could enjoy working on her business as a matter of personal interest and passion rather than necessity. This might make it sound like their relationship only helped her. However, that's a short-sighted way to view things. She was instrumental in his transition into being a writer. Betsy was always an artist and creative, and she understood the writer's spirit like no one else, and that was something that the couple shared. Now that we know who these two are, we can finally start to investigate their death. While the death itself didn't show any signs of murder, the death was considered suspicious, as set out by a search warrant affidavit. This was because despite there being no signs of there being any sort of altercation or intentional act of killing, their deaths didn't seem like accidents or suicides. This idea makes sense because the affidavit that I previously mentioned details how near Betsy's body we were able to find an open pill bottle with dozens of pills strewn across the floor. Furthermore, the investigation into the house showed that one of the heaters had moved within the residence. Despite these findings, there were no signs of gas leaks or external trauma. Because the case is still new, the amount of information which has been publicly disclosed, the press and public at large, is limited due to the limited amount of information that the police have to work with. Preliminary autopsy reports have shown that there were no signs of external injuries to either of the two. And as of now, the toxicology labs are currently analyzing the bodies, and we have yet to receive any information from them. As of now, there are a few explanations that we can use for this. It's likely that given their old age, they likely could have had issues with their health, which could have resulted in them collapsing. However, with the nature of their deaths, it's hard to say given that evidence suggests that the two died relatively close to the time of each other's death. This makes the likelihood of a coincidence like them both dying of health complications at the same time unlikely. However, here is another theory. The two of them likely could have died of some kind of accident, or if they both had health complications, the cause of this complication could be something that the two shared. This could mean, for example, a shared allergy, and them accidentally eating something which triggered it because they may have shared meals. However, with our limited understanding of the case, it's hard to come to any conclusions about the exact cause of their death. This doesn't mean all is lost, though. Something odd that needs to be noted is that the two were last seen in public in March 2024. Their deaths have prompted an outpouring of tributes to the two of them, as their storied histories in the entertainment industry have inspired countless people and changed the lives of just as many people. Their presence and contribution to the arts will be highly missed by those within the industry along with their fans. It might be hard to understand the impact of their impact on the industry. Sure, I explained the basic information of who they were, however, we'll go into more detail about the impact of their career. Gene was one of the biggest actors of the 20th century. His career spanned over 6 decades and left a huge impact on the world of cinema. This resulted in him achieving several awards in his career. Gene's film career began in the late 1960s. With the movie Bonnie and Clyde in the year 1967, you may have heard the names before. Bonnie and Clyde, the infamous crime couple wreaking havoc across the nation, two ne'er-do-wells up to no good. The movie was directed by Arthur Penn. It redefined the crime genre and introduced Gene as one of the most formidable actors of his time. This performance not only established his name, but also set a new standard which inspired writers and directors across the industry. For a few years, making sensitive yet violent characters like Clyde Barrow was all the rage in Hollywood, as directors tried to capitalize on his appeal. The range of emotions and the depth that Hackman was able to put into Barrows was noteworthy at the time and would be something that he would continue with the rest of his career. In 1971, he would take the popularity he got from Bonnie and Clyde and increase it to the power of N. His performance in the movie The French Connection as the detective, Popeye Doyle Hackman, won him the Academy Award for the Best Actor. The film's gritty tone and Hackman's thick-skinned persona were something which carried and amplified some of the aspects of Clyde Barrow and used them in interesting ways to portray a character on the flip side of justice. The movie was carried by Hackman's performance, making it one of the seminal crime thrillers of the era, as his role and expertise in playing tough, grizzled, but ultimately human characters was something in which he excelled. Another one of Hackman's most defining roles was in the 1974 movie The Conversations. Francis Ford Coppola directed the film, directing and instructing Hackman on how to play the enigmatic Harry Call, a surveillance expert and recluse who prefers to keep to himself. A life of constant surveillance, turning him into a man of much paranoia and fear, all of which meant to protect someone who is fundamentally a vulnerable person like any other. The movie was a critical success and was praised for much the same reasons as his other characters. His performance was so excellent that he turned these fictional characters into real people, pretty much the perfect embodiment of what the writer and director envisioned in the film. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Hackman continued to impress with his performance in Mississippi Burning, Hoosiers, and Superman. His talent as an actor allowed him to switch his roles between the heroes and villains like it's nothing. On paper, this sounds like it's nothing worth praising. As an actor, you should naturally be able to commit to several roles. However, a common pitfall in Hollywood is to typecast actors so that we can manufacture star power. Because Hackman has such a range despite the pressure to typecast himself and let himself stagnate as an artist, his willingness to not only work out his ability to adapt, but also to stay an excellent actor through all his roles, made him one of the best actors of his time. In 1992, he earned his second Academy Award, this time for Best Supporting Actor in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven, where he played the cruel and corrupt sheriff, Little Bill. The film became one of the defining westerns of the 1990s, and Hackman's performance was all too critical to selling the heroism and complex morality of Eastwood's role. Because of that, was a testament to his abilities. He continued this success throughout the rest of his acting career. However, in the end, it resulted in him shifting away from acting as his passion for the craft and the chains of old age slowly made him less and less interested in the job. Throughout all this, his wife was there to support Hackman. She was his muse and his confidant. Every one of his stresses and every little worry he had was something that she could comfort him through. Their love and shared support was something that eventually let the both of them move their life outside of Hollywood and into the house in Santa Fe. If it weren't for the unfortunate circumstances of their death, we could have said that the two of them lived objectively amazing lives, being able to go out in this world mutually assured by each other's presence even in their twilight years as their faculties diminished. The tragic deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, have left the world in shock and speculation. Despite no signs of foul play, their untimely passing has sparked numerous questions and theories. While the lack of external injuries and the puzzling circumstances surrounding their deaths suggest that an accident or health-related issue may have been involved, the investigation is still ongoing, and a definitive cause remains elusive. What remains indisputable is the lasting legacy of both individuals. Gene Hackman, whose career spanned 6 decades, shaped the landscape of cinema with his versatile performances, memorable roles, and unwavering dedication to the craft. From his iconic portrayal in Bonnie and Clyde to his unforgettable roles in The French Connection, Unforgiven, and beyond, Hackman's work continues to inspire generations of filmmakers and actors alike. His contributions to film and literature will never be forgotten, and his influence on both industries is immeasurable. Betsy Arakawa, while not in the public spotlight as much as her husband, played an instrumental role in supporting his transition to writing and pursuing his passions beyond acting. A talented pianist and interior designer, she brought creativity, passion, and stability to their shared life in Santa Fe, where the couple quietly enjoyed their later years away from the pressures of fame. Together, Hackman and Arakawa lived a life marked by love, creativity, and mutual support. Their legacy will continue to resonate with those who admired their work, and their contributions to the arts and entertainment world will endure, even as we await more clarity on the circumstances of their deaths. The void left by their passing will undoubtedly be felt by all who knew them, whether personally or through their artistic endeavors, and their impact will continue to inspire for years to come.